Here's a little peek at one of the tricks from Patty's Knitting Bag of Tricks. This one has to do with the cable cast on and how we can get rid of that annoying rounded edge. Let's take a look. The cable cast on creates this lovely rope-like edge, but what is not so lovely is how it ends. It ends with this rounded corner. What we'd like, whether or not we're doing a scarf or a shawl or a sweater where we want to seam those two pieces together, is we want a nice sharp corner. So let's take a look how we do that. When you're doing a cable cast on, you start with 2 stitches on your needle. I like to cast them on with long tail. And then you insert the needle between the 2 stitches, wrap the yarn around as if to knit, pull a new loop through, and insert it onto the left needle knitwise, meaning you're inserting the left needle bottom to top. Insert the needle in between the 2 stitches, snug up, and repeat. But let's take a careful look at what this little loop does. The reason you get that rounded edge is each loop creates the braid, that little rope-like pretty braid, at the base of the previous stitch and becomes the next stitch. So the problem is when you end, you get that weird overlap. This stitch has no base. So what happens when you knit? Rounded edge. I'm going to knit a little bit and let's take a look. After just a few rows, you can already see why you get that rounded edge. Right there is the braid, that stitch that has no braid underneath it. So all these other stitches, there's the stitch that wraps around the base of the stitch before it. There's the stitch that wraps around the base of the stitch before it. And this one has no base. Let's give it a base. So when you get to your last stitch and you pull it through, don't put it on the needle. Instead, you're going to move that working yarn to the front and over the needle like a yarn over. Lift the stitch up and over the yarn over. And now it has its base. Transfer that last stitch knitwise. And the final stitch has a base and you'll get a lovely square edge. I'm going to knit a few rows and let's take a look. And there you have it, a nice sharp corner. So this seams together beautifully, or if this is a shawl or a scarf, you get a lovely sharp corner so that you get this and not this. Just one of many tricks in Patty Lyons' Knitting Bag of Tricks.